The controversies surrounding Disney's Snow White remake show that we are still in the thick of the culture wars. Oh, have we been following the Snow White?
Actually, the first time hearing of this.
Really?
No.
Yeah.
Okay.
Good for you.
Well,
What was once Disney's hopeful reimagining of a classic fairy tale has turned into a full-blown Hollywood catastrophe. The live-action Snow White was supposed to be a modern triumph, a landmark in progressive storytelling that would refresh a beloved classic for a new generation. Instead, it's become a cautionary tale of clashing ideologies, unchecked egos, and a studio seemingly blindsided by the very narrative it greenlit. Now, a newly leaked behind-the-scenes clip has lit the final match. In it, Rachel Zegler's co-star unleashes a blistering tirade.
It is over for Rachel Zegler. Her career is done. She will be lucky if she makes it on a direct-to-DVD Steven Seagal movie at this point.
Openly blaming Zegler for the film's collapse and igniting an already volatile situation. The video, reportedly circulating among industry insiders and dangerously close to leaking to the public, shows the unnamed co-star venting about everything, from Zegler's controversial social media rants to her influence over the film's moral direction. The tone is raw, scathing, and impossible to ignore.
Look at this, 46%. That's horrible. That's a disaster, bro. That ain't good. You might as well just...
The co-star accuses Zegler of stirring backlash, dragging the project into political firestorms, and ultimately sabotaging what could have been a box office hit. But this meltdown didn't happen overnight. The tension had been simmering for months, some say even before the cameras began rolling. A troubled beginning. From the start, rumors swirled about clashing egos on set. Rachel Zegler, fresh off critical acclaim for her performance in West Side Story and touted as Disney's next
they're
big
projected
thing.
to lose between 2 and 400 million on this.
It's over. It's a wrap. Because her entire career rested on this Snow White movie being a success, and it ain't looking good.
Took bold stances in early interviews. She vowed to update Snow White with modern values, proudly declaring that her version of the character wouldn't be saved by a prince. While this resonated with some audiences, others, particularly longtime Disney fans, found her approach dismissive, even disrespectful, toward the legacy of the original 1937 classic. Meanwhile, her co-star, a powerhouse actress known for leading massive franchises and commanding strong fan loyalty, reportedly butted heads with Zegler over politics, tone, and creative direction.
I just mean that it's no longer 1937, and we absolutely wrote a Snow White that is... She's not going to be saved by the prince, and she's not going to be dreaming about true love. She's dreaming about becoming the leader she knows she can be.
Industry insiders suggest the two actresses had fundamentally different visions of what Snow White should be, with Zegler pushing for an overtly feminist take, while her co-star advocated for a balance that respected the original source material. There were constant debates over the script.
You know, I typically say just release this garbage on Disney Plus, but no. I think they should just just not even, just forget this. Just try to erase this movie from existence completely at this point.
Over the tone of scenes. A crew member revealed anonymously, it felt like a tug-of-war between two entirely different movies. Cracks in the castle walls. By the time principal photography began, the production was already on shaky ground. Reports of behind-the-scenes drama multiplied.
Snow White is running for president.
I'm launching my campaign. I am.
I don't want to gag myself on the air, so I won't do that. You know what bothers me more than anything about this? These stories are invented by women.
Even bonding events designed to boost morale, a common practice on large film sets, reportedly turned into battlegrounds of political and personal tension. At one such event, Zegler allegedly refused to attend, citing a clash of values, with how the team wanted to celebrate the film's legacy. It was the first of many moments where the cracks began to show. Tensions escalated further as post-production approached.
and then they couldn't put dwarfs because this is just so typical of the left. The progressives always finding a way to find their way back to doing something not progressive.
Disney executives were reportedly alarmed by early test screenings, where audiences reacted coldly to Zegler's portrayal of Snow White. Focus group feedback described her character as aloof, preachy, and unrelatable. Meanwhile, Zegler's presence on social media only added fuel to the fire. Instead of calming the storm, she often doubled down, mocking the original film, defending her reinterpretation, and occasionally taking aim at critics. People are not used to seeing a princess who doesn't need saving, Zegler said in one viral interview, but that's their problem, not mine. To her fans, she was speaking truth to power.
Like witches and evil and fear and true love. They weren't creating girls who wanted to fall in love. Girls want to fall in love. It's part of the beauty of life.
But to detractors, including members of the production team, her words were tone-deaf and alienating. The marketing meltdown Disney's promotional efforts, normally a tightly controlled and carefully curated machine, fell apart. Instead of excitement, the campaign generated confusion and outrage. Posters and trailers were relentlessly mocked online. Clips from Zegler's press appearances circulated like wildfire, with social media users creating parodies and memes that mocked both her performance and her attitude. As the weeks passed, the campaign's tone shifted. Zegler, once front and center, began to disappear from promotional materials. Red carpet appearances were scaled back, interviews were canceled, even the official Disney social accounts seemed to distance themselves from the film. Insiders say this wasn't accidental.
Not that many scripts that come down the pike.
No, it's 7 of them.
That has, and there's seven dwarf jobs here. But because I think it was Peter Dinklage said this is, this is not right.
There was a real concern that continuing to spotlight Zegler would only hurt the film further, a Disney marketing executive reportedly said. The backlash wasn't going away, it was escalating. By opening weekend, the writing was on the wall. Box office projections dropped, early ticket sales were abysmal. Some major theater chains began quietly reducing the number of showings, an unheard of move for a major Disney release. The film opened to critical panning and lukewarm audience scores. And then came the leaked clip that changed everything. Described by insiders as a bombshell, the behind-the-scenes video shows the unnamed co-star speaking candidly.
You think the most progressive thing would be get people jobs, and dwarves want to work.
It's like an honest golden employment opportunity for dwarves.
Clearly unaware she was being recorded. In the clip, she vents about her frustration with Zegler's behavior, claiming the younger actress hijacked the film to serve her own agenda. She turned what should have been a fairy tale into a political manifesto, the actress says in the clip. And now we're all paying the price. The footage also includes comments about Zegler's refusal to collaborate, her dismissive attitude toward veteran crew members, and her alleged influence over script changes that alienated fans. She didn't care about legacy, the co-star continues. She cared about headlines. Though the clip has not been publicly released, several outlets claim to have viewed it. It's being passed around Hollywood like forbidden fruit, dissected in private circles and whispered about on industry podcasts. And though Disney has not acknowledged its existence, damage control is clearly underway. The fallout, personal and professional.
I think Rachel Zegler probably wants this too. I think Rachel Zegler, she probably wants people to forget about this movie. She wants people to forget this entire experience. She would probably appreciate Disney just making this movie go away.
The emotional toll on Zegler is reportedly immense. Sources close to her say she's withdrawn completely, devastated by the collapse of a film she once believed in deeply. Her attempt to reshape Snow White into a modern empowerment tale has, in many eyes, backfired spectacularly. Fair or not, much of the blame has landed squarely on her shoulders. Some of her defenders say the backlash is a sexist double standard, that if a male actor had pushed for creative changes, he'd be praised for his vision. Others argue that while her intentions may have been good, the execution and the tone in which she delivered her message alienated the very audience the film needed. Meanwhile, Zegler's future at Disney is in serious doubt. Several sources indicate that upcoming projects she was being considered for have now been put on pause. Her once bright star power has dimmed, not because of lack of talent, but due to an overwhelming wave of bad press and fractured trust. A brand in crisis and Disney.
Right, and not to mention that the people that voted for Trump tend to be people that appreciate more wholesome values, traditional values, people that tend to have kids, right?
They're scrambling. Promotional efforts have ground to a halt, press tours are canceled, executives are in damage control mode trying to patch up the wreckage before it tarnishes the brand any further. Internally, fingers are pointing, with many wondering how such a promising project spiraled into one of the studio's biggest PR disasters in years. There are whispers of reshoots, of scrapped sequels, of internal memos warning future teams to tread more carefully with legacy IPs. The failure of Snow White could have lasting effects on Disney's entire live-action strategy. According to one executive, "We didn't just lose a movie, we lost a piece of trust with our audience." The situation also raises serious questions about the studio's vetting process, not just for casting choices, but for the ideological messaging they're choosing to foreground in reboots. When do updates become overhauls? And when does empowerment become alienation? Collateral damage. As for the crew who poured their talent into the project, many feel their work was overshadowed by scandal. Lavish sets, intricate costumes, and sweeping musical numbers are now buried beneath the noise of leaked audio, feuding stars, and public boycotts. "People forget that hundreds of us worked on this movie," said one production designer. "We didn't sign up for a culture war. We signed up to make art."
Rachel Zegler spent her energy, her time, leading up to the release of this Snow White movie, shitting on the original.
For some, the experience has soured their view of working on major studio productions altogether. A few crew members have quietly left the industry. Others are already looking for work on indie projects, hoping to escape the politicized environment that now seems to haunt big-budget films. Where does it go from here? The Snow White debacle will likely be studied in film schools and marketing departments for years. It's a case study in what happens when social politics, fan nostalgia, and Hollywood ambition—
Because that other side, right? The woke weirdos, the lizards, these people, they don't believe in having kids.
collide without clear alignment. For Zegler, redemption may be possible, but it will require a serious reset, a shift in tone, a better team of advisors, and a deeper understanding of the audience she wants to speak to. For Disney, the lesson is clear. The crown must fit. You can't just put any message into a fairy tale and expect it to work. The magic lies in the balance, honoring the past while moving forward. And for audiences, the message might be even clearer. They're done with lectures. They want stories. In the end, Snow White was meant to be a celebration of a beloved tale. Instead, it became a cautionary epic. And Rachel Zegler, once Disney's rising princess, now finds herself at the center of a real-world tragedy, one no magic mirror could have predicted.